Coming up next at 5, right here on WJZ.
A winter weather advisory in effect. I'm Bob Turk. First Warning Weather tracks how much snow we could see and the impact across the region.
It's slick conditions on the roadways as snow continues to fall in Baltimore. I'm Rick Ritter, live with the WJZ Mobile Weather Lab. We'll have the details straight ahead.
Police take down an active shooter who was driving through West Baltimore and firing out of his car. I'm Mike Helgren with the exclusive video, and I'll tell you how it all ended.
This is WJZ TV Baltimore, in your community, where you live. WJZ News at 5 starts right now.
Hello, everybody. I'm Denise Koch.
And I'm Jessica Cartalia. At this hour, a winter weather advisory is in effect for the Baltimore area. It is tricky out on the roads, cold enough for the snow to stick to the pavement. One guy in Hamden is carrying out some hot food to try and stay warm amid the cold and snowy conditions. And a live look from one of the Maryland Department of Transportation cameras. You need to take it easy if you are heading out anywhere tonight. A lot of Christmas parties this weekend. WJZ live with First Warning Weather coverage. Christy Breslin at WJZ Traffic Control monitoring those roads. Rick Ritter with the problems that the snow is causing. But we begin with Bob Turk in the Weather Center updating what we can expect. Bob?
Well, some updates here on the radar. Take a look at the snow. It's moved through the Baltimore region. It has pretty much ended right here in the city, as you can see. It's all off to the east and northeast of that Baghead's just moved through the region around 4:30 to 5 o'clock. Right now, I still have snow across Cecil County, upper portion of the eastern shore, all of northern central Delaware, up to Philly and Jersey. All that snow continued to move east, northeast of the region. So we're pretty much done with it in the Baltimore region. The problem is it's cold. Only 26, 25 in Frederick, 25 Westminster, 24 Bel Air. With any of that snow that's on the pavement that has not been treated, any roadways, obviously we're going to have slick conditions because it's not melting at this point. Not until tomorrow when we begin to warm up. Now, they've just trimmed back the winter weather advisory west of us, and now it's still in effect till 7, officially for Baltimore, Anne Arundel, Hartford, Cecil, and upper eastern shore Delaware, and those areas east and northeast of our region until 7 o'clock tonight. It may be trimmed back a little bit sooner west of us. Right now, most areas across central Maryland, just a ½ inch to an inch, but 2 inches plus across extreme northeastern sections where the snow will continue for a little bit longer. West of us generally just traces to about an inch or less to the west of our region. So we'll come back and look at a much warmer weekend. A lot of this is going to be gone by the weekend. We'll come back with a forecast in just a few minutes. Denise?
All right, thank you, Bob. Now let's check in with Rick Ritter. He is live in North Baltimore with the WJZ Mobile Weather Lab. Rick?
Well, Denise, the snow has calmed down quite a bit, which is certainly a great thing. But really, we are in the middle of that 2-hour rush hour stretch that officials are extremely worried about. We are live with the WJZ Mobile Weather Lab here along Cold Spring Lane, right near Falls Road. Let's take a look at the temperature. It's certainly cold out here, about 28 degrees. The wind gust really a non-factor, but still, it's those slick conditions that have officials extremely worried, mixed with the heavy traffic. What started with light pellets on Friday quickly picked up as Baltimore's dealt its second batch of snow this week.
On Saturday, we're working the storm, and we're still preparing for Tuesday. And then Tuesday, we were working the storm and preparing for this one.
This system just in time for the evening rush hour. With a forecast of up to 3 inches in some areas, schools from Baltimore to Hartford County not taking any chances.
Schools are getting out early, so I'm going to pick up my daughter from school. Got out of school a little early, and my track meet was canceled.
Both State Highway Administration and Baltimore DOT are in full activation mode with hundreds of trucks and thousands of tons of salt. Chopper 13 over those crews who made their way in and out of salt domes throughout the state.
Our crews are out there trying to treat it at the same time people are trying to drive it, so that becomes a little more complicated.
A desperate attempt to avoid slick conditions and keep the evening rush hour commute smooth.
We do ask that people do not underestimate the roadways. Because you see some dry spots, there may be some slick areas.
While winter hasn't officially arrived.
Well, it's almost winter, but hey, that's what's Maryland weather.
A dose of frigid temperatures and wet snow reminding Maryland just how strong Mother Nature's grip can be. Back out here live, taking a look at some of the snow that's been sticking on the ground. Probably about an inch, maybe an inch and some change, if you will. And then moving on over to the roadway here along Cold Spring Lane. Certainly some slick conditions, but traffic getting by just fine. And the big concern was obviously this is the time when they really want to get crews out there to put more salt on the roadways, so that mixed with the heavy traffic can certainly be a recipe for disaster, which is why they are urging people to leave early, give yourself time to get to where you're going, and give crews some space to certainly do their job. I'm Rick Ritter reporting with the WJZ Mobile Weather Lab. For now, we'll send it back to you.
We need to remember those words the rest of winter. Thank you, Rick. Now let's get an update on the situation on the roads with Christy Breslin. She's live at WJZ Traffic Control. Christy?
Hi, Denise. Hi, everyone. So many backups, I really don't even know where to start. But we will start with the Harrisburg Expressway if you're traveling in the northbound direction. Extremely heavy. That's lasting from the Beltway to Belfast Road. As far as the Beltway itself, major delays on the inner and outer loop. Right now, the longer delay on the inner loop, it goes from 95 over to 795, and unfortunately, that delay is just going to slow down again once you reach Reisterstown Road all the way over to Bel Air Road on the northeast side. As you can see, there's a look at Providence Road and Greenspring Avenue in our cameras there. 70, problems continue in both directions, westbound from the Beltway to 32, eastbound the heaviest from 29 to the Beltway. And northbound 95, no relief in sight. It's heavy from the Capitol Beltway to the Beltway on the southwest side, and the problem in the southbound direction, several accidents contributing to this, but the busiest there from 195, and that's going to last over to 198. Taking a look at northbound 95, there's a look at White Marsh Boulevard. Those delays begin prior to White Marsh Boulevard. They're going to stretch all the way over to 543 in the Harford County region. As you can see, still pretty packed there. Northbound 795 lasting from the Beltway to Owings Mills Boulevard. Average speed only about 10 miles per hour. And not a good situation. There is a look at 50 eastbound at the Bay Bridge. Very busy there, as you can see, as you make your way through the toll plaza. This traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Hurry into Subway for the savory Reuben, corned beef, Swiss cheese, sauerkraut, and Thousand Island dressing on freshly baked bread, only at Subway for a limited time. Back over to you.
Thank you, Christy. And remember, download WJZ's weather app to keep track of our changing weather. Get hourly, daily, and extended forecasts and severe weather warnings. Search WJZ Weather and get our app.
Well, the other big story tonight, a wild, dangerous, high-speed police chase through the streets of Baltimore. Chopper 13 captures the shooting suspect as he cuts through several neighborhoods with officers in hot pursuit. Devin Bartolotta was on the scene just seconds after the suspect was pulled from his car and has what witnesses are saying about the incident tonight. But we begin with WJZ investigator Mike Helgren breaking down this wild chase. Mike?
And Jessica, you saw it unfold live on the news at noon. It ended right here on Gwynns Falls Parkway. The suspect had been in communication with his girlfriend and told her that he wanted to surrender, and you can see her run up to him and grab him when he gets to this intersection.
Be advised, the individual has a rifle in the vehicle. He keeps firing out of his vehicle at passing vehicles.
An active shooter with an assault-style rifle and a handgun led police on a pursuit through West Baltimore. Chopper 13 was overhead during his terrifying half-hour ride through the city.
I don't know what was going through this guy's mind. I don't know if he's just a reckless criminal hell-bent on harming other people. I don't know if he's mentally ill. I don't know if he's both.
Here's how it all ended, with the suspect's girlfriend approaching the Lexus after it slowed down near Mondawmin Mall. Police rush toward the vehicle. The suspect is in a light-colored shirt. Everyone falls to the ground. While officers rush in, the car continues moving forward. Police say the suspect was wanted in a triple shooting and was spotted by police on Fulton Avenue. He took off and went on a shooting rampage.
Undoubtedly was not in legal possession of either the handgun or the assault-style rifle.
Do not let him get a shot at you. Just keep him in sight, okay?
The chase wound its way through West Baltimore. At one point, the suspect slammed into a car on Monroe. On Fulton Avenue, narrowly missed hitting a pedestrian, and later drove on the sidewalk. The suspect fired as he drove through the city, shooting a man in the leg on North Avenue, shooting a person in the upper body who was in a vehicle. The passenger there went into cardiac arrest. Police also say an officer suffered a leg injury. You can see him being put into a stretcher. Police defended their actions as appropriate, saying their pursuit saved lives.
It's absolutely insane, absolutely crazy. You guys saw it from the air. What possessed this guy to do this, I have no idea, but obviously he's someone we want off the streets.
Now, the commissioner called this textbook policing, and we want to show you some of the weapons they found in the vehicle. This was the assault-style weapon that was stretched across the front and back seats of that gray Lexus. And this was the handgun found inside that car. We just got an update from police, and one of the two people who was shot, that was shot in the most serious condition, has now stabilized. So that is some good news. Police have yet to name this suspect, but the commissioner said today he put the entire city in jeopardy. Reporting live in West Baltimore, Mike Helgren, WJZ.
All right, thank you, Mike. Now let's check in with Devin Bartolotta with reaction to this dangerous chase. Devin?
Denise, we are right along Reisterstown Road where the tail end of this chase happened. If you'll walk with me here, you can see some of the police tape is still up at the scene. We are just steps from the mall, and there were dozens of people here earlier watching this chase unfold. It was a citywide spectacle.
Whoa. Feel like something off a video game.
WJZ in the thick of the car chase that sent bullets flying and stunned Charm City. Have you ever seen anything like this?
In movies.
All eyes in West Baltimore locked in on a massive police presence racing down Reisterstown Road as officers closed in on a suspected active shooter, recklessly tearing through the streets for miles.
It was from when I was on my way up Park Heights, which was an hour ago, and when I was on my way back down Park Heights.
Dozens witnessed the final moments at Gwynns Falls Parkway and Reisterstown Road, where the suspected shooter was arrested. At just about a 12-minute drive north of Mondawmin Mall, a second crime scene. Witnesses telling WJZ they saw the driver shoot into this vehicle 3 times.
I could tell it was a gunshot because there was smoke coming out of the window. I could tell.
Brendan Mayhew and Will Lang say they watched the bullets fly.
He shot 3 times outside of out of his car. We didn't know where the bullets went. Next thing you know, the car literally right in front of us had a bullet hole coming out the side of the back window. The back passenger of that car got shot in the head.
Tragedy and shock as police investigate what they call a once-in-a-generation crime spree. Now, just before rush hour tonight, police towed away that suspect's vehicle and reopened this busy intersection. But this chase is still very much the talk of the neighborhood tonight. In West Baltimore, I'm Devin Bartolotta for WJZ.
Thank you, Devin. Now, Chopper 13 was the only news helicopter covering the chase as it happened. Let's check in with Captain Jeff for his perspective.
This is where it all started. This is Wabash and Rogers, taking a look at this police scene where there was a shooting, and it looks like the car that has the police tape draped over the top of it actually has windows shot out. Now, from this point, there was a pursuit. It went southbound from this area in Northwest, and it went all the way down into West Baltimore, and at one point it went into Southwest over by Montgomery Park, and the furthest south they got was almost to Montgomery Park, southbound on Monroe. The car had to make a U-turn and double back. They did several U-turns throughout this chase. They ended up coming back up into West Baltimore, into Northwest, and they worked up Park Heights Avenue a few times, back down Reisterstown Road, in and out between those roads, finally ending up in front of the Mondawmin Mall, where the car appeared to have lost the ability to continue on its own. The police made an arrest. They approached the car by foot, dragged the suspect out. Then the car went through the intersection and ended up up against the curb. Now, one police officer, it appeared, received some sort of an injury. They were able to transport that police officer to the hospital, and that's where it all came to an end, and that was on Reisterstown Road at Gwynns Falls Parkway. Reporting from Chopper 13, I'm Captain Jeff Long. Back to you.
And WJZ will bring you more information about that suspect as police release it. Medical marijuana regulators approved 12 new dispensaries to open across the state. However, according to our media partner, the Baltimore Sun, the supply remains low, and it may be difficult to buy marijuana until at least March. The low supply is driving up costs, with patients paying as much as $500 an ounce for medical marijuana. More than 18,000 people have registered to become patients.
The Ravens enter the home stretch of the season in control of their own playoff destiny. It's a simple formula. They win, how, and they're guaranteed a spot, and it starts with the Browns on Sunday. Sports director Mark Viviano has a preview of the game and what our panel of experts predict.
The Ravens' path to the playoffs is now a three-step process. 3 regular season games remain against 3 struggling opponents, beginning Sunday against the winless Cleveland Browns. If the Ravens avoid upsets, they are headed to the postseason. Ravens practice in Owings Mills after a loss. The Ravens haven't had to bounce back from a defeat in more than a month, but their winning streak ended in agonizing fashion with that last-minute loss to their rivals in Pittsburgh. A painful defeat, but the Ravens haven't lost hope.
We know it's time to push forward. It's a long season, and we've been through losses before. And we know we still have a chance to make the playoffs, and we can't just keep looking down on the past. We have to keep moving forward.
We're in it. And we've earned our way to be in it. You know, we're right there during a wild card berth. But there's 3 games left, and we got to make it happen for ourselves. You know, and we understand that.
The Ravens beat the Browns in September and are favored to beat them again Sunday. Cleveland is 0-13. Our panel of experts remembers how the Ravens lost to 0-13 Miami 10 years ago. But this is now.
History will not repeat itself. Baltimore Ravens take care of business in Week 15 of 2017, 31-17 Ravens.
I see a lot of turnovers in the Ravens' favor, and I see the Ravens coming away with a win, 27-10.
They'll win in Cleveland, but I will remind you, it's not always easy. They were behind 20-0 in last year's game, but somehow, some way, Browns go down again. They still have a 0 next to their win column. Ravens win it, let's say it's 27-17.
The Browns are bad, but they will battle the Ravens, who cannot and will not lose this one. But I do see it being close. 23-20 Ravens. Back to you.
That would be close, Mark. You don't want to miss all the action when the Ravens take on the Cleveland Browns this Sunday at 1 p.m. only on WJZ. 20-23.
That's, yeah,
there's a
that
little
is
more
not
of a
what I would
spread.
predict, but what do I know? I'm not even on a bobble. Still ahead on WJZ's News at 5. Shocking case of hazing. A fraternity pledge at Penn State dies. The scathing new report out tonight.
Saying goodbye to a young mother and her 2 daughters killed in a tragic house fire. I'm George Solis. How the community is paying their respects. Story straight ahead on WJZ.
Keep an eye on 16-year-old Luke Mann. His phone app to track disaster damage won part of a congressional contest. I'm Mike Shue. See his work next.
And snow falls over much of the region. The impact and latest conditions coming up in the updated First Warning Weather forecast with Bob.